Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Hello, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in and joining me today. I am giving this a run on YouTube Live. So welcome to another episode of The Front. As always, you can check out the website at leadtheteam.net for free sales training, for motivational content, and for leadership tips. And if you would, you can cruise on over to, well, I guess this channel right now, and make sure you subscribe. Click the little bell notification icon so that you know when I am going either streaming live or when I'm uploading new episodes. So today on The Front, I'm going to be talking about loving the purpose more than the process. Now, I was training with some people this past week, and it was one of those things that just came out. I happened to say, you know, we were talking about actually phone sales, and I was going into it. It was, you have to love the purpose of the call more than the process that you're going through on the call. And, you know, purpose is the why. Purpose is, why do you do something? Why are you attempting something? And then the process is the how. It's the actual actions that lead up to what it is that you want to accomplish. So, as I said, at the time I was talking about navigating through a sales call. And when I said it, it was like, well, ultimately it's because our purpose is to serve the customer, to set the appointment, to have people in and purchase a product. In this case, it's purchase a car from us, right? Now, you want to be able to provide enough rapport and enough connection with that person on the other side so that they feel compelled and agree to come in and meet you, right? That's, you know, in this case, it's like, okay, we want them to come into the showroom and be comfortable with the person on the phone to be able to look at a vehicle. So as I was thinking about this, though, and I was saying loving the purpose more than the process, I thought, man, this actually could really apply to a bunch of other areas in our life. So more so than just sales or a sales call, I thought, you know, think about this for a second. Youth sports. I have 3 kids that are in athletics. And as a former youth coach myself, a lot of times as coaches and as parents, we fall in love with the process, like how they're supposed to be doing it. I'm worried about how my child is supposed to attempt this. And it's not always about the how. What's the end result? You know, you want them to feel successful. You want to have a successful game. You want them to score goals. You want them to ultimately win and see success in that immediate scenario. And so sometimes most of the time, it's more important of what is the outcome? You know, what's the outcome that you're hoping for? If that's what you want them to do, is to score or win or succeed, you know, and feel really good about themselves doing it, if that's ultimately what you want as the outcome, sometimes you got to throw the process out the window. You know, in parenting, this is a big one, and this one's tricky. In our minds, when we're becoming parents, we think to ourselves, look, I've got this whole scenario laid out, and I've got this perfect process of what my kids are going to do, how they're going to be, how they're going to behave, how they're going to accomplish this so that they'll be fantastic little human beings. And then there's reality, right? The reality sets in that, and this is where it becomes heavy on purpose. The reality is you want your kids to grow up and be quality, contributing adults, people of character, right? That's the purpose behind the parenting. That's more important than how they get there. At the end of it, when they turn 18 or 21 or whatever it is that that goal age, you know, most of us look at our kids as adults at 18 years old. But we want them to be more successful. We want them to do better. We want them to be better and have better things than what we had as, you know, going through our own lives. And so at the end of the day, it's much more important that we see what that purpose is. What's the outcome of being a parent? What do you want for your kids? that's more important than how they get there, because the path is going to be all jagged and all over the place. It's not going to be a straight path like you have planned out. And anyone who's a parent, if you are a parent and you're watching this, you're going to agree with me. Like, yeah, absolutely. Your path is all over the place from what you may have expected it to be. So how does this apply to us then in business? Sales, for example. We, in our store, in automotive sales, we use a 5-step sales process. And it's greet, qualify, present the product, demo, and then close. You know, ultimately from the greeting, you want to get to the place where you close the deal. And it's easy to be worried about, and especially for people that are in a management position or a leadership role, it's easy to fall into the trap and say, oh man, gosh, they didn't do this part of the process perfectly. They didn't execute on this part of the process. And it's whether you have a 5-step, a 10-step, a 12-step process, whatever your process is in store for a salesperson, it's easy to fall in love with that part of it and then be judgmental of the salesperson or salespeople that are not executing on it perfectly, right? That look at it and you go, oh man, they didn't do this part of the process just right. But ultimately, you ask yourself the same question. What is your outcome? What's the outcome you desire? Ultimately, you want the customer to have an outstanding, excellent, engaging experience and leave with the product that they came in to look at. Why? Because hopefully it's gonna, it creates a good process and it will better their lives. It'll put them in a better position than when they came in and met you. Same thing on sales calls. I talked about this at the onset, at the beginning. What do you truly want the outcome of that call to be? I probably should have done this in inverse order. I should talk about sales calls and then sales, but here we are. What do you want the outcome of the sales call to be, right? Ultimately, you want the recipient, the customer, the potential customer, to receive engaging conversation, to receive you well, to be comfortable enough with the person that's on the other end of the phone, most of the time you or one of the people that works for you, to say, I can see this doing something good for me, and so I'm going to go see this person. When you care about the person and you deeply care about the person on the other end, on the receiving end of the phone call, the product, on the, as parents, of course, you deeply care about your kids on the receiving end of your communication, right? The purpose in any of those situations, the purpose will always outweigh the process when you have that deep caring for somebody. So keep in mind, when you love the purpose of what it is that you're doing, it helps you to easily love the process. You'll develop that process and you'll love going through it and getting through it the right way because you know what your outcome is going to be. So that's my whole message today on the front. Everybody, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me. I really appreciate it. Please, if you've gotten something out of this video, give it a thumbs up, right? Share the video on your social media. I will, once I figure out the YouTube live thing, pull it down, re-upload it, and put it on my other social networks. So whether you're watching this live or if you're watching it afterwards, please share the video. I would sure appreciate it. And again, I said at the beginning, I'll say it again. Check out leadtheteam.net for sales training, motivational content, and leadership tips. And always tune in to leadtheteam.tv. I'm doing this every Wednesday and Sunday. So thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me. And until I see you next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.